Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I gotta be honest, I was hesitant about showing all of you this. Certain areas that'll be in my game, the Ultra Tech gear. Reasons being is that I'm solo. I'm doing this 100% by myself, and it's hard when I have to think about how showing my ideas will affect the progress of my game. I'm already juggling a lot by doing literally everything from concept to completion, so it's really difficult to gauge how much I should share. But I love showing you my progress. A lot of times I shock myself because of how better Identity Rebels is getting every time I make a new devlog. And in this one, I'm giving you a glimpse of the dead zone. Also a few more Ultra Tech abilities that have been added to the arsenal. So sit back and relax, because this is definitely one you're gonna wanna see. Let's dive right in. So, the dead zone is an area due north of the map, where the climate is always extremely cold, the visibility being very low and where enemies lurk throughout. It's not safe even in places you may feel refuge. And it seems weird, right? The dead zone being a snowy wasteland. But remember, the nuclear cataclysm drastically altered climate change, which explains the dramatic weather conditions in the dead zone. There will be many areas to explore, and the loot is very lucrative because it's high risk. It's also the home of a legendary enemy named Jason Himitsu, whom I've mentioned a few times in other devlogs and videos. He's an ex-regime soldier who went insane and escaped to the dead zone, making it his home. Founder of the faction known as the Exiled, a ruthless group of individuals highly trained, of a rare breed and challenged by the harshest conditions while overcoming them. When you face these enemies, they will be more than average and give you a challenge for sure. They do have a base of operations in the dead zone, which also happens to be where they reside. Let me tell you something. This place will never be in the same location twice, and here's why. First of all, I want to give you an experience while in the dead zone of being lost, not really able to navigate that easily. Because just think about it. If you're in a snowy wasteland where it's almost always a blizzard and the visibility is low, do you really think that you'll be able to identify and know where places are whenever you're in that location? So I want to kind of sell that perspective in the dead zone. So this means that the base of operations will be in a randomly generated location of the map every time you decide to venture about to the dead zone. And once you find the base, it'll be like finding the lost city of gold, because the loot there is very rewarding. And not only will the area be randomly generated, but Jason Himitsu will not always be there. Sometimes he's out hunting or gathering resources, and you will be able to encounter him randomly out there as well. But if you do find the base, it'll make the enemy encounter not as difficult as if he were there. I am definitely gonna love this area and the experience, something most definitely to look forward to. But let's talk about something else I've been wanting to share. It's about the Ultra Tech gear. Last episode, I showcased you a couple abilities I coded. The first being Guardian's Impregnable ability, a bubble shield that grants damage immunity from all directions, still susceptible to certain enemy buffs and perks, but definitely a very powerful skill. Next was the Min Stim Pack known as Stim Heal, the burst heal that delivers a chemical which enhances the production of your stem cells, thereby granting your immune system accelerated healing to the affected area. This automatically increases your survivability and is available to all those utilizing this Min class. Both of them I am very fond of and love using, and they're obviously defensive skills, so I've decided to start working on some offensive ones. All of these chest armor pieces I've designed myself. I really like how they look in game. I was afraid that by mixing and matching certain gloves with certain foot gear along with the chest armor, they'd look tacky and not look right. But man, they fit perfectly and look like they belong no matter what pieces I put together. But let's talk about the new abilities I've added. The first is called Instinct. It stems from the high-tech class. And remember, most of the chest armor pieces I have one passive and one active ability. And for instincts, it's as follows. Chameleon, 20% more resilient to bleed, burn, cold, and ionized radiation. All damage is increased by 25% when attacking enemies from behind. That was a passive. Now this active ability is one I love. It has so many tactical advantages to it, and one of the reasons it's considered the defensive variant within the high-tech class. It's called Proximity. Explosive proximity mines that can be attached to walls, ceilings, even the enemy itself. You could attach it to his face. It can be hidden within tall grass or even in plain sight. You start with an inventory of 3 that have a cooldown which starts only after the corresponding proximity mine has been detonated. Okay, let's go down memory lane a little bit. You remember GoldenEye 007, right? The classic N64 game back in the day where you were able to use proximity mines to set up your opponents. Sometimes I stick them on shadows of walls and hallways. And this is what I'm talking about when I speak of games that offers such an experience that you never forget. And a lot of times, certain mechanics that you love in games are never recreated. So you're just left with that feeling of nostalgia. But one of the best parts of game development is that you're able to recreate to the best of your ability these moments so that you can relive them again. Now, the Instinct chest armor is definitely a stealth-based playstyle, as you can tell, because not only do you have mines, but the Instinct shoes have a legendary perk that allows you to move in silence, so you can sprint without even making a sound. This is normally only allowed while crouching. There's also Instinct gloves and headgear that do other stuff, but we could talk about that later. And the beautiful thing about all this gear is that it can be mixed and matched to fit your exact playstyle. Want to be a tank that has a little extra DPS and tech ability? Well, you can do that. Moving on, here's another offensive ability, and it's in the Guardian category, called Formidable, the utility variant of the three, and here are its abilities. Absorb, the passive. When you're shot by the enemy with critical hits, those bullets are absorbed into your armor, granting increased weapon damage up to a maximum of 30%. The active ability is connected in an awesome way. It's called Shockwave. The energy received from Absorb can also be used to release a shockwave of force that staggers, knocks back, or knocks down enemies depending on the type, while dealing whatever damage you've built up from Absorb. If this is used, all of the weapon damage is taken away from Absorb and would need to be built up again. If there's no energy built up, you can just use the ability whenever the cooldown ends, but there'll just be no damage along with the stagger. Now this is awesome. It exemplifies the crowd control and brolic nature of a tank. And this is still work in progress because I haven't figured out how exactly to not damage myself when activating Shockwave. I've tried everything, but I'll eventually make it work as intended, but for now, it's good to go. It's good enough to move on and work on other abilities. Oh, and by the way, I've added a grenade throwing mechanic. I can hold on to the grenade until I'm ready to toss it. It's not necessarily a cook mechanic because, you know, you can hold it as long as you want, but I'm still working on that as well. It's really looking good so far, and it's especially nice when I pair it with the proximity mines from Instinct. And that's what I got so far. Tell me down below what you think of it. Also give me some feedback on the Ultra Tech gear and how it looks to you. Your comments and perspectives are always welcome. Anyways, I think I've talked enough at this point. Time to get to work so I can finish this ability system. I really want to complete this game so it can be shared with the world. Also, it will be an amazing personal accomplishment for me. I do not plan on quitting, and I appreciate all of you for supporting me, especially my patrons, who have no idea how much they've helped me up until this point. If you want to become a patron as well, then the link is in the description. And join the Discord community too. There, I share more in detail about Identity Rebels. That's in the description also. And once you're in, you can share with me any suggestions you have about the game or just chat. That'll do it for me, y'all. I appreciate you watching to the end. If you enjoyed this and want to support me further, then make sure to drop a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in my next video. Peace.